and welcome to my channel. My name's Shell and I'm losing weight using the Slimming World plan. I don't do the plan exactly as it's prescribed in the book because I do have 2 B choices and an A choice most days. One day a fortnight ago I did have 2 A choices and a B, but normally day to day I have 2 B choices and an A, which is just my tweak and it works for me. But it's not exactly the Slimming World plan as prescribed. But it's made it possible for me to follow the plan, and it's made a huge difference since I started doing that this time. I've never done that before on long term, and it has this time really made a huge difference because I don't really like anything much on the A choices, and I always struggled trying to fit it in, or I always used to feel a bit envious of everybody else if I just had no A choices, and I don't know, I could never get it to work properly. So since I've been having 2 B choices and an A choice, the plan is just working perfectly for me, so that's what I'm going to be sticking to, but it is slightly different to the normal plan. I hope everybody had a lovely Easter. We did. It was lovely, but it's gone very cold again now. I'm back in jumpers again. I put all my summer clothes out about a fortnight ago and put all the winter clothes, I bagged them all up and put them in the top of the airing cupboard, and now I've had to climb up and get some jumpers back down again because it's gone so cold. A couple of new things to show you that I've bought this week. The first one is this sauce, so this is just an empty jar now, which I'll spin round so you can see. It is made by a company called Real Foods. I noticed in the shop Real Foods is all one word, but when you sin it, if you go to the app and you put it in, you have to put it in as 2 separate words, Real Foods. It's organic arrabbiata sauce, and it's really nice. I bought it because it was in the sale. You know when you do online shopping and you check out and they have a flash sale on, and it was in there, so I bought a couple, and I like them because there's no other ingredients in it apart from real food, I suppose, as it says. You know, it's all the ingredients are vegetables, so it's got olive oil and some sugar. It didn't say sugar, I can't remember what it said now, molasses or something. But it's only 5.5 cents for the jar, and it's quite surprising because when you taste it, if I'd have been given it and asked to guess how many cents was in it, I would have put it a lot higher because it's quite creamy with the oil and luxurious, but it's only, well, I charged myself 3 cents for half the jar, and we had it with lots of vegetables, lots of speed food, chickpeas and pasta, and it was really lovely. So I think they do other sauces as well, which I'm going to have a look into now, but if you see that, Real Foods Organic Arrabbiata sauce, it's very, very nice. I highly recommend it. I presume they sell it in other supermarkets, so I got mine in Ocado. And the other thing I bought are these mushrooms now. These are, I can't remember which make they are now, it doesn't really matter, does it? They're huge mushrooms though, the big ones that you fill. Now I haven't really bought these before, so if anybody's got any suggestions as to what I can put in them, because I bought them with the plan of filling them with something and then putting them in the oven. I'll have to eat them all myself because Andy hates mushrooms. And I bought some last week, little button mushrooms that I had in a stir fry, but these are the big ones. There's a lot of them here. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to eat them all. I thought there'd only be a couple. If anybody's got any idea what I can fill them with, I haven't really thought. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to fill those with something this week and put them in the oven, so if anybody's got any suggestions, I'm very fond of garlic, so perhaps there's something in garlic I could put in. I don't really like cheese. I don't know. If anybody's got any suggestions that I can put in there, I'd be glad to know. So we had a really good Easter. I wanted to plan Easter, and I planned it starting about 2 weeks ago because I was very aware that I'm about 4 weeks now into my Slimming World journey this time, and it's usually around about week 3 or 4 where I start to mess around and often go off plan. So I wanted to make sure I had Easter all planned out. And I've been looking at the way other people have done Easter, and there's so many different ways you can do it, and Slimming World is great because it allows you to do whatever suits you best, and it's still all on plan. A lot of people at my group had family get-togethers, and how they tackled it was that they had a big meal out on Easter Sunday with their families. They went out to a pub, but for the rest of the week they pretty much cut their sins down, which worked for them. I don't find that works for me. If I know I've got a meal coming up that's off plan, it does weird things to me and I can't stay on track before or after. So having a kind of a, well, what you'd call a cheat meal, or just a meal that uses up all your week's sins in one go, it doesn't work for me. It's the one thing that I think I learned a valuable lesson from Weight Watchers, because they give you a certain amount of sins to use all in one go at the weekend if you want. And I thought that that was what I wanted, and it didn't work for me at all. On the day where I've got the cheat meal, I tend to get up in the morning and think all sorts of thoughts like, oh well, I'm having a cheat meal, so I'm gonna have a gain, so I might as well start at breakfast, and it goes on like that, and I can't get back on track. So I decided that wasn't for me, so it was going to have to be the same sins every day, which I did stick to. Some people abstained from all Easter treats for the whole of the weekend. In fact, some people don't have any treats at all, and that works for them, because it is difficult sometimes to control them. Once you start having treats, it is very difficult to stop. But I'm used to having something every day anyway, so this was nothing new. It was just different treats. So I've tried before to abstain from things, and it's always been a disaster. I've done a couple of really strict plans. One of them was the Bright Line eating plan. I don't know if you've seen that one. The plan is very much like the Overeaters Anonymous. It's very strict. There are no sugars, no flours. Everything has to be weighed, even vegetables. It's all very, very strict. You've got to have an exact amount weighed protein, vegetables for each meal. There is no pasta or bread or potatoes or rice or anything on there. I did try that, and oh dear, I think it was one of the most miserable times of my dieting career. And certainly afterwards, the backlash of the amount of weight I put on was horrendous. And I do remember at Slimming World once deciding that I wasn't going to have anything over Christmas, and building up to it, I was really cautious, and the whole of Christmas I didn't have any chocolate, I had nothing. And I was so proud of myself going to group between Christmas and New Year and having a loss. And I went home from there and I just ate everything. It was almost like I got to that point, and the Christmas I was miserable the whole of Christmas. I was miserable that I couldn't have anything. And again, I put on a lot of weight, and in fact, I didn't go back to Slimming World again after that, because the week after I put on so much weight, I was ashamed, and I couldn't get back on track. And so abstaining from things doesn't work for me. If you can do it, and I know a lot do, Annie and Jane, they certainly do that, and it's a guaranteed way to not put on weight. If you're not eating the food, then you can't put the weight on, and you also can't be tempted into having more of the same thing, and I get that. And it works very well for people. I mean, even the Bright Line eating, if you look at the videos on YouTube, there are people that have been doing it for years. So it works for some people, but I just can't get it to work. So anyway, I decided that the thing to do was to plan Easter and to plan the sins, and that's what I did. And so I had all the nice treats that I wanted, but I never went over my sins any day. I think I planned out that the Friday, because Andy and I were watching a film, I planned to have a Jack Daniels, which was 6 sins. So that was the plan for Friday night. And on the Saturday night, I had an Easter bunny, which was the No-Mo cookie dough Easter bunny, and that was 7 sins. And 7 sins is doable in an evening, and it even allows you to have sins during the day. And it was lovely. I would have thought it was more sins than that, and it was well worth it. I've still got another bunny left to have. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it was quite a good size, certainly much bigger than my thumb and quite fatter. It was lovely. and I felt like I was having a real treat. And on the Sunday I had a hot cross bun. It was the Marks and Spencer's plant-based hot cross bun for 8.5 cents, which I had at dinner time, and I didn't have any butter because I quite like mine plain, so I just had it plain. And again, 8.5 cents, it still leaves you room in the evening to have something else. And I did the same on Monday. Again, I had the other hot cross bun because we bought a packet of 4. Again, you see, when you go to the checkout, all the things are being pushed at you. Buy one, get one half price. Buy this, buy the other. And when you're checking out, there's just adverts and chocolate everywhere. It's very difficult to avoid it if that's what you're trying to do. So that was my Easter weekend, and I really enjoyed it. And I also got an Easter egg. Now, I haven't had an Easter egg since I was 15. I've had a couple of Cadbury's cream eggs. Well, they weren't Cadbury's cream eggs. They were the vegan version of Cadbury's cream eggs. I've had a couple of those over the years, but I've never had a big egg since I was at school. I think my mum bought me my last one when I was 15, and this year Andy bought me an egg. And I was really shocked because he's never bought me an egg before, because he knows how much I struggle with chocolate, and he always says, well, I don't like to see you agonising over it or eating it all and then feeling bad. So he's never bought me an egg in all the, well, we've been together 40 years this year. Never bought me an egg before. And I really felt like I was in a different frame of mind. And I thought, I wonder if that's why he's bought it for me, because he can see that this time I really am not going to eat the whole egg in one sitting. And I haven't done. I don't know how many sins was in the whole egg, because I don't see the point of finding that out really. I went to find out how many sins were in one portion. So I portioned out 15 grams of the egg, which worked out 4 sins. And I'm quite happy to break that up. I've only actually had one portion so far. So that's what I'll be doing, and I'm going to really, really enjoy it because it's my favourite chocolate. It's the chocolate that I normally eat in bars anyway, to be honest. But it was so lovely to be bought an egg, and I was ridiculously excited about it. I probably shouldn't be at approaching 60, but I was really excited about the egg. And so I went to group on Tuesday, and I lost £0.5 pound, and I was really pleased with that. So that takes my weight loss to 12.5 pounds. I started this time at Slimming World at 11 stone 9.5, and now I'm at 10 stone 11. So I was made up with that, and there were 2 or 3 people that had lost as well. I wasn't the only one, and I didn't get Slimmer of the Week, so there were people that had lost more than me over Easter and done well. But I was made up with that, and I've noticed this week that my body shape has changed quite a lot. Possibly more this week than in any of the other weeks, strangely enough. I can really feel the weight that's come off this week. I've got a couple of things coming up, which is why I'm being careful. Next week it's my birthday, a week on Friday. It's also Al's birthday. I don't know if anybody follows Al Geeky Slimmer. Al does Slimming World, and he posts up some fantastic what I eat in a day videos. And his channel's great, and I'll put it in the description below, because Al would like for his birthday to reach 600 subscribers. So if you haven't been over there, go and have a look at Al and his little dog Boris, and they have a fantastic journey to follow. And if you can subscribe and help get him up to 600 subscribers, that would be great. I don't know what I'm doing for my birthday next week, but I'm planning to stay on plan. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardise my weight loss. I think I might be having a small glass of bubbly for my sins that day, but we'll see when we get there. And the week after that, I'm going out for a meal. I'm meeting somebody that I've known online for about 10 years but never met, and they're coming up to Llandudno on holiday. So Andy and I are going up to meet him and his family and go out for a meal. So that would be nice, but it's another thing. All these things I feel I really need to think about and plan and try and find out where we're going, so I can look up the menus before we go and be prepared. I think that's the whole thing I need to do, is to be prepared. So that was my week. How did your weeks go? Did you have a nice Easter? Did you do anything nice? I know not everybody has stuck to plan. Some people have just had a weekend off, which obviously is a valid thing to do as well. If you can just accept the weight loss. A couple of people in our group had just taken the weekend off and they just come into group and accepted the weight loss, and then they're just going to carry on. And all these different ways of approaching Easter are all valid, and whatever you can do to get through Easter is what works for you. Because the advertising this year, I think, has been horrendous. On all the radio stations, television, it's all been pushing chocolate and eggs and sweets so hard. It's been very difficult to switch off. But I hope you had a nice Easter, and I'm looking forward to my week to come. I'll be back to group on Tuesday and hoping for another loss. I'm certainly going to stick to plan for the rest of the week and keep within my sins. So have a lovely week. Any ideas what I can do with these mushrooms? If you've got anything that works for you, please let me know. And I shall see you next week and hope that you see less of me. So take care, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.